It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Catherine Pereira and assisted by Surangani. News is read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. The government pays its gratitude to the Government of India of providing COVID vaccines. Media Minister says the COVID deaths should be conducted according to the health advisors. Trade unionists and estate sector praises the government for providing ₹1,000 daily wage. 100 court halls ought to be constructed. And in world news, the EU to tighten vaccine exports amid a row with AstraZeneca. Now the local news in detail. Minister Keheli Rabukwella says that he will pay his gratitude to the Indian government for granting vaccines to control the COVID-19 virus. He stated this at a cabinet media briefing held in Colombo today. Accordingly, 500,000 AstraZeneca COVID vaccines will reach the country. The committee headed by Lalit Weeratunga is acting on bringing these vaccines. Under the first stage, the vaccines will be given for the health and security sections. Answering a question raised by a media personnel, he said that the final rites of COVID deaths will be conducted according to the advice of the health sector. 2 overheaded bridges will be constructed in Kilali and Gatambe areas. Cabinet approval has been received for the Gatambe overhead bridge. Minister Udayagaman Pilla also stated that cabinet approval has also been received for feasibility study to construct the first plant to store power generation. The cabinet also approved to construct 100 judiciary halls in the island to expedite the justice in the country. Measures will also be taken to provide solutions for the traffic congestion in Paliagoda and Borella. The trade unionists and estate workers have praised the government of giving cabinet approval to increase the daily wages of estate workers up to ₹1,000. The estate workers also pointed out the Good Governance government did not take any action to increase their daily wages. The committee inquired whether there are any legal impediments to the repatriation of Sri Lankan workers from various countries who have been affected by the COVID-19 situation using the Foreign Employment Bureau's current assets of ₹14 billion. The chairman of the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment said that there is no obstacle to repatriate foreign workers registered with the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment to Sri Lanka using their funds. A total of 34,721 workers who lost their jobs due to fall of oil prices in the Middle East and the COVID-19 disaster have already requested the Bureau of Foreign Employment to repatriate them. The COPE chairman also pointed out the need to create a suitable model for the Bureau to look into the repatriation of migrant workers at a time where discussions are underway to open the country in the face of the COVID-19 and the airport which is already open. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news. Police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana says that cases will be filed against the 88 institutions which are not following the health safety measures in the Western Province. He also said that 909 state and private institutions were inspected yesterday. He reiterated that a total of 7,828 such establishments were inspected and 1,089 were found to have failed to follow safety health measures. Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, which conducts Ratana Sutara chanting program in island-wide viharas, will conduct today's program at Jetavanarama Viharaya, Colombo 14. This is the 93rd event of the series. The chanting program will be conducted under the chairmanship of Chief Incumbent of the Temple, Venerable Bambararande Rahulathera. The program will be aired live from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. in City FM, Sinhala Commercial Service and all regional services of SLBC. Bank of Ceylon and Dali Butler are the chief sponsors of this program. With that, we conclude the local news. The main news story follows.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vedha Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya.
A 3-member committee has been appointed to probe the issue concerning Indian fishermen trawling in Sri Lanka maritime boundary. The committee was set up by Minister of Fisheries Douglas Devananda. It comprises the senior officials of both Ministry and Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, as well as representatives of fisheries unions. Fisheries Ministry said the committee is expected to submit recommendations to provide a permanent solution to prevent the Indian fishermen from entering Sri Lankan maritime boundary. That came to you in our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne directed all stakeholders who have been assigned to construct Sandahirusea to comply with the work schedule in order to meet the deadline. While inspecting the progress of stupa constructions recently, the country's one of the biggest pagodas, the Defence Secretary instructed all stakeholders to extend their fullest support to meet the deadline of the project to complete the process. The Defence Secretary expressed these remarks during a visit made to the Sandahirusea premises Anuradhapura to inquire into the work progress. That ends Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
The headlines of the world news. The EU to tighten vaccine exports amid a row with AstraZeneca. Biden adds South Africa to COVID travel bans. Chinese president warns against a new Cold War. Now the world news in detail. The EU has warned it will tighten rules on exports of COVID vaccines amid a row with AstraZeneca over a cut in planned supplies to the 27-member bloc. Health Commissioner Stella Kyriakides said the EU will take any action required to protect its citizens. Last week, AstraZeneca told the EU it was falling behind on its supply target because of production problems. The EU has been criticized for the slow rollout of the vaccines which it buys on behalf of all member states. The row could also affect supplies to the UK of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine developed by the US and Germany. Pfizer's Belgian plant supplies to the UK. The Biden administration has renewed Trump-era COVID-19 travel bans on non-US visitors from Brazil and most of Europe, including the UK and Ireland. The White House also imposed a new ban on South Africa over its virus variant. Former President Donald Trump has ordered the bans to end today as one of his final acts in office. The new travel restrictions came as Minnesota recorded the first U.S. case of the Brazil variant from a resident who had recently traveled to that country. Chinese President Xi Jinping has warned political and business leaders from around the world about a new Cold War. Xi delivered a speech at a virtual event for the World Economic Forum yesterday. His warning against a new Cold War, including threatening others and willfully imposing sanctions, came amid rising tension with the United States. Former President Donald Trump took a confrontational stance towards Beijing. He said such moves will only push the world into division and even confrontation. With that, we conclude the world news and the headlines of the world news once again. The EU to tighten vaccine exports amid a row with AstraZeneca. Biden adds South Africa to COVID travel bans. Chinese president warns against a new Cold War. With that, we conclude the world news. The development news follows.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, the Port Authority of Sri Lanka has identified the need to expedite the development of services relating to the Port of Colombo in order to increase the competitiveness of the port and meet the growing demand. Accordingly, the authority intends to establish port-related service centres with modern facilities in the Blumandal area. That was development news. Next up is the sports news. Taking a look at the sports news, cricket coach Mickey Arthur says Sri Lanka let it slip in one disastrous session after the second goal defeat in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka had established a 37-run first innings lead on the fourth morning with England due to bat in the fourth innings, and yet their batsmen crumbled to 66 for 6 before lunch, which 5 of those players dismissed playing attacking shots. That phase of play essentially handed England the match, even if they eventually had to chase 164 for victory. That was sports news. Next up is the business news. Taking a look at the business news, State Minister D.B. Chanaka says that measures have been taken to develop infrastructure facilities in the airport. These development work are being carried out targeting passenger and goods operations. The annual capacity of goods transportation in Katunayaka is 6 million. He said the second stage to widen the airport has commenced due to the increase of the capacity, which would be up to 15 million. That ends business news.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The Central Fish Market Employees Federation yesterday said due to the drop in the pandemic situation, 70% fish is now being distributed to all parts of the country from Paliagoda Central Fish Market every day. The Federation also said that this is a significant improvement by all sectors involved in the industry, including the fishermen, large and small-scale fish distributors, and traders in the main fish market at Paliagoda and outstation fish stalls. That was economic news.
Hello, Putta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the Sabaragamu province and in Gaul and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. A few showers may occur in eastern and Uva provinces. Mainly fair weather will prevail over other parts of the island. That was the weather report, and prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The government pays its gratitude to the government of India of providing COVID vaccines. Media Minister says the COVID deaths could be conducted according to the health advisors. Trade unionists and estate sector praises the government for providing 1,000 rupee daily wage. 100 court halls are to be constructed. With that, we conclude the news, and over to my friend and certainly yours as well to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music. It is over to Niranjan. Over to you, Niranjan.